This is an 1890s Metropolitan Police photograph of Police Constable Ernest Thompson of Whitechapel's H Division, and this, in Tower Hamlets Cemetery, is the grave that he has lain in for the last 125 years. A courageous and willing man to those that knew him, he was well acquainted with Whitechapel's crime and violence, and was actually known in newspapers as the policeman who almost caught Jack the Ripper. At 2:20 in the morning on the 13th of February 1891, it was Thompson who had discovered Francis Coles, mortally wounded but still alive, beneath the Swallow Gardens railway arch, and had been forced to stay and render aid while whoever did it ran from the opposite end of the archway. For the rest of his days, it was said, he wished that he could have chased him. 10 years after that, though, at 1:20 a.m. on Saturday, the 1st of December 1900, Thompson had been on duty on Commercial Road when he happened upon this spot here, on the corner of Adler Street, where a number of foreign loiterers he could see were loudly arguing at a coffee stall. Thompson intervened and sent them on the way, but what exactly then happened next depends on where you read it. Belligerent and aggressive, a number of them either crossed the road to head south and then turned back to confront him, or the incident began right there. But one way or the other, Thompson suddenly found himself being attacked. He was knocked down, it will be reported, before 40-year-old Barnett Abraham stepped forward, armed with a knife, and stabbed him twice in the neck, exactly as Francis Coles' killer had, strangely enough, after violently forcing her to the ground in Swallow Gardens. Thompson, regardless, managed to wrestle him onto his back and blew his whistle, which attracted Constables Brooke and Herding, who, on arriving, found him pinning Abrahams to the ground with one knee on his chest. With his jugular vein severed, however, he was bleeding terribly from the throat, and as Brooke and Herding grabbed hold of Abrahams, Thompson collapsed. "Hold him," he reportedly said. "I'm done." He was quickly loaded into a cab and rushed towards the hospital on Whitechapel Road, but on the way bled very badly and presented a ghastly sight. He was smothered with blood, it was said, and on arriving within 50 yards of the hospital, gasped one long breath. He then lay still, it was said, and was gone. Thompson's funeral attracted giant crowds, and a plaque in his memory now hangs in the Metropolitan Police Museum. Abrahams, meanwhile, was convicted of manslaughter and later died in prison. I'll see you back here next week for another Morbid Monday.